So if you as a company are trying to lower your call center costs and you think that hiring a cheaper rep or switching everybody over to commission only is going to help, you're probably going to end up making things more expensive, because what we've seen over and over again across hundreds of call centers is that the structure that you use to pay your reps is going to shape the culture of how they perform. So if you pay on sets, then you're going to get volume, but volume in of itself doesn't necessarily mean quality. What it does is it causes reps to book anybody just to be able to hit their kind of golden number. So they'll push people through who aren't ready and they're not qualified, because for them, their goal is the set, not the sale. And then what happens is your sales teams end up wasting tons of time driving out to junk appointments, right? But if you kind of swing the complete other way and you only pay on demos without having any type of structure to incentivize effort, then what you get is cherry picking. So reps are going to start avoiding those tougher calls. You know, they'll say that a lead isn't serious or the number was bad, or they just won't follow up with these leads properly. And eventually what happens is your pipeline will start to dry up. So in my experience, this is what actually works, and this is how we pay our own reps at Elevate My KBB. We advise that you guys provide a base pay that is competitive with whatever market you're in, but not a cent more than that. And then you incentivize your reps, and it only kicks in when your reps hit a minimum threshold of confirmed demos, right? And that threshold piece is very, very important. And it's probably the main thing that I found that most owners miss in their kind of comp structure, because the idea is not, you know, just, hey, book demos and get paid, right? To qualify for bonus pay, a rep needs to be producing kind of a baseline level, right? And that's usually, in my experience, something like one demo every 2 to 3 hours. And that's going to depend on kind of how much lead flow you guys have, the region you're in, what season you're in, right? But if they don't hit that floor, then they don't get a bonus, even if they still have a bunch of demos that they did confirm during that month. Now, what this does is it prevents a situation where someone, you know, gets a demo for the day and then they just kind of coast through the rest of the shift, because the primary aim is to keep the standards high across the team all the time, right? So that's, you know, what this is aimed to do. And what it also does is it makes it really clear that, you know, this is a performance role, right? Where, by the way, if you do perform very, very well, you can get paid super duper well, but it means you can't just show up, give the bare minimum effort and get paid for your job, right? Now, when it comes to sets, because they are important, as I said earlier, we don't pay for them directly. What we do is we use SPIFs, which, in case anybody watching isn't kind of familiar with the term, what it stands for is kind of sales performance incentive funds. And what we do is we use these SPIFs, right, to drive urgency in the moments where we specifically need them. So let's say you're kind of light at this moment in time on kind of same day or next day demos, then we might throw a $15 set bonus, and it will be in kind of, again, that specific circumstances for specific gaps in our calendar, right? But there is a catch to this. This as a strategy is only effective, I promise you guys, it is only effective if the SPIF is immediate, right? End of week bonuses, they don't work, right? A bonus that's going to be added to the end of, or to somebody's paycheck at the end of the month, I promise you, it doesn't motivate people, right? What we found is that if someone's going to book a next day demo today, they need to know that by tonight, they're going to have something extra in their pocket. Even if it's like a coffee card, or you have some sort of a sticker system that kind of adds up to a bigger prize, you can even just cash at people or send their money on Venmo. But the reward needs to be instant to actually drive that behavior, right? Between that demo floor that we spoke about, the performance bonuses, and tactically using these SPIFs, what we're really doing is we're building an entire pay system and structure that supports quality, not just activity. And what does that do long term? Well, it achieves what you guys said you wanted to do, which is lower your call center costs. Because now your leads are going to reps who actually care if that person shows up, and your sales team isn't going to be chasing around these no-shows. Your reps are going to be earning their upside, right? And your company isn't going to be leaking money because you're, you know, incentivizing vanity metrics like sets per hour, right? So to, again, return to what I said right at the beginning of this video, it's not about paying them less, I promise you. It's about paying your reps smarter. And just kind of a quick plug, speaking about playing less and paying people smarter, the one thing that I do know is that, in all fairness, despite everything that I've said today, no matter what comp plan structure you choose, or, you know, however you decide to pay your reps, you're more than likely not going to be able to find, train, and manage high performing reps for less than we can give you guys fresh out the box, right? We run a fully managed inbound and outbound system, you know, with trained reps who are already operating in this exact model that we've spoken about. And, you know, we've seen firsthand the way that paying your reps correctly can actually drive efficiency across the dozens of client accounts that we're currently working with. If you're someone who, you know, wants to be able to improve your call center metrics, or maybe, you know, you even just wanted like a better way to be able to monetize some of the leads that you're already paying for, right? Then, at least in my opinion, it's definitely going to be worth having a conversation with us. So feel free to reach out via the website, and I can kind of walk you through everything that we do. Otherwise, feel free to follow the page. I'm going to be dropping tons of content that you can implement right now to help your call center perform a little bit better. And feel free to send it, you know, to your team so that they can kind of understand, you know, how better to set up pay structure for your call center. All right then, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.